Hello, everybody. We are live, and today is Thursday. And this is Lucy, and as you know, I'm coming in from Mexico. And of course, I've got another awesome guest for you today who is in the USA, and we will find out exactly where. But before we start, a few housekeeping tips. If you are joining us live, down below in the comments, hashtag live, or if you're watching the replay, hashtag replay, and do tell us where you're coming from. All right. I always love to know where people are coming from. We're such a global, community today that we can be anywhere talking to one another. So it's just so exciting to know where people are from. Um, so I'm getting a note here that uh, they're having trouble streaming to Facebook. So this may be an issue. Let me see if I can do something. Let me just go see what I can do here. I'm not the most techie person in the world, but okay, well, we'll have to see what happens. Yeah, it may not be, I don't know what's going on with you. Okay. All right, I'll have to let that go because um, just because. Okay, let's get back to the interview today. I just want to let you know that my guest today and I have the same mentors. Tony Robbins, just to mention one. We also have quite a few mutual friends. Debbie Prediger, to mention one. We consider ourselves collaborators and connectors. So, without any further ado, let's meet my guest, Mary Gervais or Gervais.
Hi, Lucy, and I love the French. Thank you.
Okay, great. Mary, thank you for being here because I know how busy you are and you could be anywhere else, but thank you for being here. We do appreciate this.
Well, it's an honor. I am so thrilled that you reached out, and I just love that we have these connections and these collaborations together. And it's just so beautiful when our community comes full circle.
Absolutely. Thank you. So, Mary, I know that you are a serial entrepreneur. You're an innovator. You're an intuitive strategist. And so, could you tell me, if I were to ask you, what is your divine blueprint?
My divine blueprint is I am definitely a connector.
Okay.
And I sometimes feel, Lucy, I have always used my intuition. I mean, it has always guided me.
Hmm.
But I just feel like in business, even I had my own bakery cafe for 7 years, and I just had the ability to take individuals and ideas and say, oh, you should go here, you should go here, you fit here, let's maximize this skill set that you have. And it's like helping people take their own unique gifts or a business where I think that I can see where the strong points are
Right.
and helping them bring that out into the world and show it.
Right. Wow. Now, you did mention that you had a bakery cafe, and I think you mentioned that it was for 7 years. And so, was this before you got into corporate work, or?
No, I was in corporate first. I love to travel. I traveled a lot. I was a foreign
Mhm.
exchange student in high school in Bolivia, and then I spent a year in Sweden. I had a gap year when gap years weren't things. And then, I traveled. I spent a year in Spain in college, and I just had the travel bug. And so one of my first jobs out of college was working for a Chilean airline, and I did sales and marketing for them. And I started off in New York City, and then I moved to Washington, D.C. with them. And with that, I had the opportunity to basically travel. I mean, we could get passes on other airlines.
I remember those days.
It was fun. I mean, like even in, we have in Chile, it's our summertime is their winter time. So I remember Labor Day weekend, we would go down and ski for 4 days. I mean,
Isn't that cool?
crazy, and literally take the night flight home, and then we would arrive in the office at 9 a.m. you were exhausted, but it didn't matter because you just had this fabulous weekend. So I mean,
Absolutely.
that's the travel bug. So what can I say? That and then I went from there. I met my husband. I moved to Puerto Rico, and then I was in retail. I was a district manager for a designer jewelry company there.
Wow.
And then, and that was really interesting. I knew nothing about jewelry, but the owner of the company was phenomenal. And she's like, no, Mary, you have the skill set I want. And so I basically managed her 6 stores and traveled the island all week long. And it was so much fun. And she was a huge mentor, actually one of the biggest mentors in my life. And she is the one who taught me that, especially with jewelry, she said, Mary, it doesn't matter if it's a $15 pin or a $50,000 Tiffany necklace, because we used to have the exclusivity of Tiffany in Puerto
Right.
Rico.
Wow.
She said, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Absolutely.
And I just thought that that was so beautiful. And I will tell you one other thing that was a huge thing that we used to have 3 of our stores in these big high-end casinos, and they were always on the beach. And she used to say to us, when someone walks into your store, it does not matter what they are wearing.
Right.
You have no idea who is walking into your store. And of course, we always treat everyone with dignity and respect, but I will never forget one day a guy came in flip-flops, a t-shirt with a hole in it, and he ended up buying a $60,000 necklace. So you never know.
Don't judge the book by its cover. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. It's amazing. That's such good advice because you were young. But it just what stands out to me is that you have been open to opportunities that have come to you. You didn't talk yourself out of that job because you didn't know anything about jewelry. You just were wide open. Yeah, of course. Let me jump in here.
Well,
You know,
I just think that life presents us possibilities,
right,
and it's not coincidence. I just think that those are the synchronicities in life,
right.
and we are the ones who have to decide if we're going to go for it. But I'm a very curious person. So
Hmm.
I'm always about, oh, I want to learn something new. Teach me something new. Let me expand myself. And I know, Lucy, you as a teacher
Hmm.
are the same way.
Absolutely, and
Mhm.
I'm still learning. I mean,
We all are.
because if it, and Dean says it best: if you're not learning, then you're regressing, and you're going the other way, and nobody
Absolutely.
wants to go the other way for sure. Well, that's so interesting. I'm not discounting all of this knowledge and this experience, but what was the actual at what point in all of your career steps did you think about even becoming a coach?
Well, really, I always loved to help people.
Mhm.
I played lacrosse in college. I used to love to help the new players. I, I've always had that kind of nurturing spirit
Right,
or if someone is new to an area, I was always love to welcome them. And I think a lot of that came from having lived overseas, especially when I was a foreign exchange student at age 16. You're dropped into this new country. I didn't speak the language. And so you know what it feels like when someone comes into a new place and they're somewhat vulnerable. But the place about me really coaching women was when I had my bakery cafe. I had a
okay,
lot of women come in and say to me, how did you do this? And I'm like, well, you certainly can do this. Anyone can do this. It's a step by step process. And if you break things down and you're passionate about it, you can accomplish it.
right, right. So, and that's true of everything. But the fact is, you mentioned that you travel a lot to Spanish speaking countries, and of course you speak Spanish. Did Spanish help you in any way, guide you in any way toward where you are now?
Oh, absolutely. Like, okay, so when I was going to be a foreign exchange student, I was actually supposed to go to South Africa. And
Okay.
a month before I left, because there were many uprisings with apartheid, they told me I could not go there
Okay.
for security reasons. So the only place available was Bolivia. And Lucy, I had been studying French. Okay. So, yes, I landed, and it was an interesting feat to be dropped someplace and not understand the language. But every single job, especially in corporate America, that uh, they hired me, I can tell you one of the main factors was because I spoke Spanish.
Yep. Yep.
Yes.
I believe it. I believe it because it's the way that, I was a teacher all my life, and at one point, I had retired once, and in the 2008
Hmm.
year came and the crash came, and so I thought, well, I'll go back to work, and I'll do what I know best, which is teach. And I went to the public school, and the San Francisco public school. 2 years after I got in there, because they offered such a great package, they were laying off people, and it was the fact that I had two languages that kept me there.
Absolutely. It is a game changer.
It absolutely is
Hmm.
for sure. So now I think in terms of your work, you were in charge of a women's business center, I believe, in Rhode Island, right? Where you actually started. You were actually coaching, were you not?
I was coaching. So the Rhode Island Women's Business Center. It was part of a nonprofit, but all of the women's business centers in the U.S. actually are partially funded by the Small Business Administration.
Okay.
And yes, we help businesses start, build, and grow. So I taught classes. I mentored women. I probably had 7 or 8 clients a week who I would see. And then, we had basic classes and we had grow classes. We had a microloan program, which was beautiful. Imagine we piloted a program where with $5,000 we gave women.
Wow.
And I cannot tell you what the businesses were. There was one gal who she had a dream of opening a cupcake business.
Wow.
And
Big business today, but yeah.
yes, yes, but she literally, her minister at church helped her take an old ambulance and
Hmm.
they converted it into a food truck. And long story short, we are still in touch with one another. And now she owns her own restaurant and has the catering business and the food truck,
Wow.
all with an initial $5,000 loan. I
Well, it's about being resourceful, isn't
mean,
it?
it
Wow.
is.
That's so cool. I wanted to ask you, you wrote a course called Is Entrepreneurship Right for You? Was that course written when you were at the business center? Was that?
Yeah, it was something that we offered, and the
Mhm.
beautiful thing about it is, as I went through it, I got to put in my own, like these are my own experiences, and this
Right.
is what happened. And it was an hour-long course, and anyone who actually wanted to come into the Women's Business Center for consulting, because the consulting was free, they had to go through this course. So
Okay.
it was kind of like a segue. Are you serious about this?
Right.
But also, one of the things that I taught in the course is this is really what entrepreneurship is. And it's not all like glitz and glamour, and you're really going to have to work. And so this might not be a good fit for you. And there were people who would go through the course and then they might sit down with me and we talk about stuff. And I would honestly say to them, I don't know if this is the right fit for you.
Right.
I think you need to think about this and this and this, because it's a huge leap.
It absolutely is, especially if you're thinking of giving up your job.
Hmm.
And it's not an overnight.
No.
Entrepreneurship can be very lonely. It's one of the
And
reasons why I it was, very luckily for me that my team came together, but I cannot believe that, or even think about working alone. I just wouldn't happen as far as I'm
Lucy,
concerned.
and that's so interesting that you say that because that is one of the things that I used to talk about. I said it's a
Mhm.
very lonely career,
It
which
is.
is why the Women's Business Center was wonderful. We had, events that people could go to. And that's why I think the communities that you and I are now part of online, they're very important because
Mm.
we really need to support one another. And I always say that entrepreneurship is not about competition. We
No.
all have our own special niche. Even if you and I had bakeries, we would each have our own special sauce.
Absolutely. My
And so
bread, or yeah, be different. Yeah.
we're always different. And that's the beauty. Is the collaboration and the innovation that can come through partnering with someone.
Wow. No, I do believe that entrepreneurship, if you think of it as a collaboration, because that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be building relationships. And if you're not thinking in terms of collaborating with people, then yeah, forget it. I can't even think of thinking it any other way but collaborating with
Right,
everybody that I meet.
right.
So that's great. So your course, did have you had to revamp it, rewrite it? Did you ever sell that course, or
No,
what?
I never sold it, and I used to. Both of my children went to the University of Rhode Island, and I used to go in and actually teach it to. They had an entrepreneurial track, and I did this as a
Wonderful.
volunteer. But I used to love to go in and talk to the college students who were entertaining entrepreneurship, and even on a part-time level. Okay, this is great, but let's get the conversation going of what this is going to involve.
Right,
Mhm.
exactly. I always think of Brendan Bouchard, and I mention him so very often when he talks about entrepreneurship and the opportunities that come to you. And he always says, remember that with every opportunity that you say yes to, you open that door. And on the other side, there's another door called work. I love that. You
No,
know,
it's true. It's
yeah,
true. I mean, when I had no idea what I was getting into when I opened a bakery cafe that was open 7 days a week. My children were 2 and 3.5 when I started.
wow.
And the when I first opened, I worked 90 days straight. 90 days, and I was there for those first 90 days at 4:30 in the morning every day until at least 2:30 when we closed. And then, I would do book work and marketing and stuff at home. And it wasn't until I went for an annual physical at the doctor's and she looked at me and she's like, Mary, uh, I had dropped like 5 pounds, and it wasn't that I wasn't eating. It was like the work, the stress,
Right. Yes. Mhm.
And she's like, okay, something's got to change here. So when that happened, my husband actually took over the store on Sundays. He was working full time, but he would then so he had a free day Saturday and I had a free day Sunday. And we did that for a year
Wow.
until we felt comfortable enough with the revenue coming in that we could bring on assistant manager and a manager.
Right.
Yeah. So you
That's
do what it takes, right?
You absolutely do, but I can't think of a harder way to earn money but to have a restaurant. I mean, God love those people who think that way, and some are very successful and some are not. But in any case, it's taken hard work to keep you in business for 7 years.
Well, and Lucy, I will say, if I didn't have the passion that I
Right.
have for baking, I would have never made it through. And I honestly don't think that I ever really felt like I was working because I loved it so much.
All right.
So that's one of the things too. I think that's so important in entrepreneurship is that you are truly passionate about what you are building.
Absolutely.
Because if you're not, and a lot of people say, well, I'm going to do this because I can make money. And I'm like, well, great. By year 2 or 3, that energy and excitement is going to be gone. And then what are you just going to drag yourself to work every day? Do you know?
Yeah.
So
It,
that's the flip side. You've got to figure out what it is that really is that burning, like it gets you so excited.
right. It reminds me what you just said reminds me of Russell Brunson's story, who said, he got really passionate about his business and started making a lot of money, and all of a sudden looked and said, I don't even like these people. I work. I don't like these people. I work. I can't do this anymore. He was making lots of money. It's not about money. It has to be about what you love and whom you love to. You have to love the people you work with. Otherwise, it's all
It's
for naught.
and that goes into the energy. You have to have that energy
Exactly.
and flow because people are attracted to that. And of course, people will come in to your brand or whatever it is that your
Mhm.
business is if they see that you are emitting that beautiful energy.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Mary, here you are, a person who's always loved to travel. You've been in business, and the business center. You were in charge of creating a course there. You're also an author, are you not?
I am. I was first invited to be in a collaborative book, which I was like, it was a group of women entrepreneurs, and I'm like, wow, I'm like, this is really exciting.
Right.
And so, Women Who Dream, and that was a beautiful. I always liked school, and I like to write, but I never considered myself, like
Right.
an
Hmm.
author. And then I had another book called Dear Younger Self, which was another collaborative book that I was asked to be in. And that for me was just beautiful because it's basically my part was called Unlocking the Wisdom Within. And it just talks about the stories that you have and you want to share that with someone.
Right.
And I think we do that also as coaches. You don't
Absolutely.
want someone to maybe land in that pothole or take the detour that you did, so that if you can help someone, avoid those things, well, isn't that beautiful that
Absolutely.
we can share that knowledge?
You want to be the bridge for them for sure,
Yes.
so that they don't have to go down those peaks and valleys that you did. So, oh,
It,
that is so cool. So I love the book Dear Younger Self. So, if I said to you, what would you say to your dear younger self right now? What's the message today that you would give to your dear younger self?
I would say, don't let fear stop you. Like
Okay.
if you see an opportunity, just go for it. I mean, I have always done that, but I would say even those times where you are like, mm, you know, I always say our heart knows the way.
Right.
So if we listen to those inner messages, and that all goes back to our intuition, do not doubt yourself because that is your inner sense just telling you, yeah, this is for you. This is what you need to do. And sometimes we really need to stop and sit back and just be to really get that clear sense coming in. But when we do, we definitely know it's a muscle. I mean,
It
we have
is.
to practice that. So I guess one thing would really be, Lucy, when I was younger, I used to like go, 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 go,
And
and
do.
do, 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 do. And now I can tell my younger self, yes, we need to, well, we don't always have to work hard. No. If we just sit back, the energy will flow and everything just comes together. But you have to, I have taught myself to just be and to take that time for me. So that's, I think, wisdom that my younger self did not
Okay. Is this the kind of wisdom that you would also maybe give to women who are in their 60s and wanting to create an online business, you know.
Absolutely. But I mean, I would really have them, uh, honestly, when people are, especially women in their 60s, when
Right.
you're looking at starting a business, I say, first of all, what is your passion? Like, what excites you? Let's think about that. I have them write down, whatever. And then the other thing is I'm like, well, what are your dreams? Where do you want to go? And a really good thing for anyone who's looking to start a business before they start is to do a vision board.
Absolutely.
And some people are like, a vision board, really? And I'm like, no, because this is what you are dreaming of, what you are seeing. And it's really what resonates with you and what makes you happy. And isn't life about love, joy, happiness? And if we aren't doing these things, so let's drive and figure out where we can guide you and you can create that business around that. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, even today, I have a vision board. It changes. I put in new pictures all the time, new experiences that I want to have all the time. I have vision board on steroids because it's together with a tech tool. But besides that, you're right. Vision boards. It's always interesting and very important for people to remember their why, right? And
Yes.
the vision board can help you do that. I mean,
Uh,
you know,
Absolutely. So I think everyone needs to, and I really, for those who do not take that time to like pause and just be, that is a great tool to even get them to stop, whether
right.
it's be for 2 or 3 hours, where you focusing, it's kind of like a regrouping mechanism.
And it's also what one of my favorite authors is Neville Goddard, and he talks about the wish fulfill, having the feeling of the wish fulfill. So you have all these people, the places you want to go, and you can just let your imagination flow. That's how you create. That's why we're called co-creators, because we have this wonderful imagination. You know.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Great. So, can you share kind of some strategies or maybe techniques that you found particularly effective in marketing and branding your business that you could share with us?
Yeah, well, one of the main things, and I'll be honest with you, Lucy, it
Mhm.
wasn't till probably 2, 3 years ago that I was even on Facebook.
Oh, wow.
Because I've always been like, I know who I am, but I definitely have always been an in-person, like, if you meet me and I walk into a room and I like you get a hug from me. That's just the kind of person that I am. I
Right.
love, and I even have friends who are like, we hate hugs, but from you we'll take one. And because I'm like, no, we need this connection. So I'm a real in-person connector. Then I realized, okay, Facebook's not going away, nor is Instagram, nor, so I was like, hmm. So it took me a while to hone my voice, like that
Mhm.
real, authentic. So I guess one thing is to just really don't just put something out there to say something. Like, you
Right.
really have to feel it. And is it part of your true essence? And that's what I always think about when I'm doing anything on social. It's better for me not to post anything if I'm not feeling the essence and it's
Right.
just like about putting something up. So I guess what I'm saying is people just really want to know who the true you is. Whether I'm like running on a trail and my hair is up in a ponytail and I have no makeup on, or whatever. People just want to know the real you. So
Absolutely.
the
They
most,
want to know you. They want to trust you. They want to love you, and then they'll buy anything from you.
yes, it's the know, like, and
Yeah,
trust.
exactly.
And it's so important. And
Yeah.
that's, I think, one of the beautiful things that I have found out about writing is that I can tell my story um, in words where before I wouldn't have known that in a book you can put that out there and you can touch more
Right.
people. So for me, that's just been a beautiful gift. I mean, another thing too is live like this, or if you even do a short video and
Right.
post it, it's just so much fun.
Absolutely.
And
And people want to see the authentic you anyway. So,
yeah,
yeah.
and I think the other thing is, regardless of if you're touching 50 people, one person, or even yourself,
Right.
you are growing because you have that courage to just communicate. And every time that we push ourselves, I think we just grow to that new level.
Absolutely. Yep, do the uncomfortable thing. And and also the other thing we have to remember as entrepreneurs and collaborators is that you just have to be uncomfortable to grow. I mean, there's no
Yes.
growth in being comfortable,
No,
you know.
and I'll be honest with you, when I opened my bakery cafe, my husband and I, we needed a loan, and it was a substantial loan, and we ended up putting our house up as collateral. Now,
Wow.
we were in our early 30s, and we had this powwow, and I had gone to a business advisor, and she said, well, whatever you do, you got to get your partner in life on board, and I teach this in my entrepreneurial courses. And we both said, well, if we don't succeed, we will sell the business, uh, and whatever we can, or even if we couldn't sell it, we would take the equity out of our home, pay the loan back, and I would go back to corporate America.
Right.
But that was a risk that we were willing to take. So
Hmm.
that's another thing. You have to be willing to take risk, but you
Absolutely.
also have to identify what is your risk tolerance.
Exactly.
And when you have a partner in life, you also need to understand their risk tolerance, because the communication piece is super important.
Obviously, yes, because
Mhm.
otherwise you end up alone. That's so true. I wanted to ask you, Mary. I'm sure you've had lots of moments of uncertainty, or times when you felt really stuck in your journey. So, what kind of steps did you take to break through and continue growing?
Whenever I feel stuck, that's when I talk to someone, whether it
Mhm.
be another entrepreneur, someone who's in my circle, maybe it's a mentor. I mean, we all need to have mentors.
Absolutely.
Um, and or even a friend. You need to talk to someone. I You can never grounded alone. So my husband's in the corporate world, and I'm an entrepreneur. So I have friends that are my entrepreneurial friends, and I know when my husband, this isn't going to resonate with him, I'm going to talk to them about something,
Yeah.
because you need that sounding board. And Lucy, I will tell you where this all started for me is when I had my bakery cafe. I ended up having, I counted them on my hands, my 5 accountability buddies, and they were women in the community who had their own businesses. One was an accountant, one was an attorney. Um, One of them was in corporate America, but she was in human resources. And two other were just small business owners. I mean, they were all small business owners except for the human resource friend. But we just had such great energy that we
Supported. Hmm.
connected, and we would meet at least every 2 months. We tried to do it monthly, to have coffee and just like talk about, hey, this is going on. Does anyone have an idea? And we all need that. So when you get stuck,
Absolutely.
when I say to people, when you get stuck, don't do it alone.
Just go talk to somebody. Absolutely. We have, my team and I have a program, and the daily Q&As, that daily support is so necessary. We have the accountability partner program also, and a team leader program. I mean, all these programs to give them the word comes to me in Spanish, apoyo, to give them
Support.
the support.
Yes.
but also to help them gain the clarity, so that they know what next steps to take.
Well,
Because
it's also if you've got someone junior on your team who you're mentoring and you
right,
want them to take a, because the other thing, entrepreneurs, this is a big thing for me. You need, especially if you have a team, you need those people to be able to help you. Like you can't be a control freak.
no.
So it's like share your skill set, teach them, and let them help you with things.
Right, thank you. But Debbie, I just want to acknowledge Debbie, who just said, found you. Debbie, I have to say that there's some problem with Facebook. I'm not being streamed on my Facebook group. So I'll have to deal with that later. So if this is not being streamed, what I will do later is take this link and put it up on my Facebook, and I'll make sure also, Mary, that you get the
Wonderful.
information. But Debbie says,
Well, I'm so glad Debbie found us. Hi, Debbie.
and she says, two of my favorite people in the same room. There you are, a dynamic duo. And, we'd be the dynamic trio if you were here. So let's talk about Deb. She's coming in just at the right time, because the next question I was going to ask you is, we talked about you being the solo entrepreneur. We talked about, the different things that you did, you being an author. Now you have a new thing coming up. You're a podcaster, and you are going to be doing this with Debbie, are you
Yes,
not? So tell us
yes.
about that.
So Debbie and I met actually in was it Tony Robbins' women's group Unleash Her Power Within. In a, she happened to be in my cluster, and we just hit it off. And I mean, I know Lucy, when you have that energy and that connection with someone, you're just like, okay.
I know.
And we just we started collaborating and doing things together. And I knew that my next venture, I didn't want to go it alone. I've been a solo entrepreneur, but it's so much more fun when you have
Absolutely.
someone to do things with, and just someone of the same energy level. And so Debbie and I, we started a room in Clubhouse, and we've had that, but we're now we've converted into a podcast called the Synergy Sisters. And I mean, you can find us on Apple, on Spotify, or on, I know that you're going to post the link for that.
I
But
will.
our idea for the Synergy Sisters was to be a focal gathering point for people, ideas, dreams, enterprises. Honestly, we want to stand behind women who have open minds, and we want to share new perspectives, show them what they can do. And it's all about, for us, as I've been harping on in this whole conversation, is the collaboration, the innovation that comes when we all connect together. I
Absolutely.
mean, and really, our big thing is we work with heart-centered entrepreneurs. We both really focus on that. And, we were talking about dreams before. What are your audacious dreams?
Right.
How are you taking these dreams, and how are you stepping into your leadership role? And we talked about all of these gifts that we all have innately, our unique gifts. And let's just take all of these gifts and, wow, let's see where we can go. And we also know that things really unfold when we tap into that intuition. So Debbie and I, are working. Also, a big piece for us is, using the intuition piece, and it's weaving the business and the marketing strategy, the spiritual development, energetics, and growth mindset. Just bringing it all home.
Together. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. That is so cool. So, do you think now? I know that you've also done a retreat with,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a very successful retreat in Mexico, and that happened all of a sudden, and it was a great success. And are you thinking also that you want to do some more retreats? And
We definitely want to do some more retreats. And Debbie's in Canada, I'm in the US, and Matilda, who we did the retreat with also is in Denmark. So yes, we're just going to keep this going. And I'll be honest with you, Lucy, though, it's all about feeling the energetics, like the timing, the place. Um, so Debbie and I also, the Synergy Sisters, will be growing. We're, working on creating a platform for it. But in the meantime, Debbie and I have started what I would call, we're going to be doing intuitive strategy and audit sessions together, which is so much fun. So individuals can meet with us. We'll brainstorm with them. We will kind of figure out what is going on, with their strategy together for an hour with both Debbie and me. And then Debbie and I will go off and we will each work for an hour by ourselves, creating what we think would be an intuitive audit for each of these individuals in their company. Yeah. And then we will send that to them. And it can be a written thing, it can be audio that we send them. So that is something that we are doing because we want to share our wisdom, but we want to have fun doing it. Right. And so that's really, we got to have joy when we're in a passion, right, Lucy, with our business?
Absolutely. If there's no joy in what you do, what's the sense? I mean, we just interviewed, you and I just saw this interviewed yesterday of Dr. Gladys, who's 102, and she talks about love, being part of it. Love, brings you joy if you feel the love. So that is so very, very true. So tell me, Mary, I don't want to take any more of your time. Thank you. And I do want to thank Debbie for joining us. I am really, truly sorry about this problem that I'm having with the streaming to my Facebook.
Lucy, this is life.
Yeah, this is life.
This is life. It is perfect. This is divinely perfect. This is the way it was meant to be.
Absolutely, and I'm certainly not going to think twice about it. So, oh yes, Debbie's just saying yes. Shika's interview and Dr. Gladys was fire. Yes,
it was. It was amazing.
And so, and Dr. Gladys, I will have the opportunity to interview her next month, just about in a month and a half. So I'm looking forward to that. So, Mary, your famous last wisdom words to my audience. I work with women over 60 who are starting their online business. Very often they don't know where to start, whom to trust. Of course, I say, look to me and I can help you, because if I can do it, you can do it. What wisdom words would you give these women, who know that they have something to offer the world and don't know how
Lucy,
to, where to take the steps?
It's very simple. Be bold.
Be bold.
And the other thing is, everyone who's listening, you need to always follow your heart, because it definitely knows the way. It is your inner compass. It will guide you.
Right.
And, that is where it will take you.
Absolutely. Wow. Debbie says, absolutely. So be bold and trust that you will be guided. We really, if you follow your heart, then the universe just kind of takes you.
It does.
To where you need to be.
And it takes us on amazing journeys that we don't even know are going to happen.
Absolutely. So let your inner compass guide you. Thank you, Debbie. That's beautifully said. So thank you, Mary. I just want to ask you now, if anybody in the audience, especially after the replay, if they want to contact with you, I have that they should visit your website at maryhelengervais.com. And you mentioned that email would be the best, right?
Yep, they can contact me at mary@maryhelengervais.com. Okay. And even on my site, there's a button they can push if they want to reach out to me.
And I just want to tell my audience that I will have all that information of how you can contact Mary, all right, in the comment below the video when we finish this interview. So thank you, Mary. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Lucy. It's been such a pleasure. I just love it. Debbie, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
And to everyone who's listening, just spreading so much love and gratitude, and have a beautiful day.
And keep growing
Yes.
because, or keep going because that's how you grow. So thank you, Mary. Thank you to my audience. I'll see you again next week for another awesome interview. And so you will have all the information about Mary down below in the comment after this video. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Debbie, for being here with us.
Thank
Okay,
you.
bye for now.